What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. 2Bit Crypto here. Now, time to talk Terra Luna Classic. And how do you know that LUNC is up in price? We decide to vote on a burn tax. We're going to be breaking down why people think going to a 1.5% burn tax is going to be the right thing, and ultimately what's my view on it. And don't forget, drop in the comments what your view is. I'm very interested to hear what you guys think. But before that, make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with everything going on in cryptocurrency and Terra Luna Classic, and make sure you smash a like on this video. And with that being said, let's take a look at the overall global cryptocurrency market, because it's been a pretty interesting day, and we are just starting to see a little bit of a relief rally on Bitcoin. So 42,573 back to a $1.6 trillion market cap, 0.83% up on the day. ETH back above 2,200. XRP moving as well, as Solana at nearly $75. Now, if we scoot down the list, and unfortunately it is a descending list for where Terra Luna Classic is, and what you'll notice is we currently sit at the 72nd highest ranked cryptocurrency, down about 6.5% on the day, holding around that $877 million market cap. So our price is down from that recent rally. Now, what's interesting is whenever we tend to get some positive momentum, whenever we tend to get a good price movement and some hype around Luna Classic, we decide to change the burn tax or have a view on the burn tax. Now, we've changed it from 1.2 to 0 to 0.1 to 0.5, and now we are proposing to go to a 1.5% burn tax with additional burn rates on it. Now, here's the problem that I have with this. I think it's a great idea. I think burning Terra Luna Classic is an absolute must in order to get the supply down. I've never been an advocate for that. I absolutely think it's the right thing to do. However, we do have to be mindful here that we know Binance didn't support an increased burn rate. We know that ultimately people don't like burn rate increases. Why? Because they lose part of their money. Now, people will say, well, do you know what? People support the community. People support the burn narrative. We have to ask ourselves, why? Why would they do, and why would they interact with the Terra Classic blockchain right now? If there's nothing to interact with, yes, we're seeing some new games come out. Yes, we're seeing a couple of new projects, all still within the works, but why would they do it? And if people don't use the chain, then it's almost defunct. But what does it say? Well, this is a community-led proposal for a parameter change to adjust the on-chain tax rate to 1.5%. This would bring us back to the original 1.2% burn tax, with 0.3 to fund the chain by the current on-chain 80-20% tax split. 0.15 would go to the community pool, and 0.15 would go to staking rewards. The original 1.2% burn tax was removed after a few weeks in 2022, which was too early to judge whether it would be a long-term success. Now, obviously, if you go back to 2022 in the price of Terra Luna Classic, we obviously got a pretty big run. Here we are, all in the greens early on in 2023. This was kind of where we were significantly up, and then obviously the dump, but still in this round we were rallying in 2022. A lot of hype was still with the chain. There was an absolute belief that this could be brought back, and I still am in that place, by the way. I'm not in a place where I don't think this is right. However, we know moving from the burn tax, Binance didn't support. That's how we lost 50% of those burn taxes, and ultimately it only works with transactional volume. Now, we do know that Binance continue to add another pairing and ultimately therefore are supporting further burn narratives, but does that mean that other exchanges are going to do it? Why are people going to use the chain? And I think that's the fundamental question we have to ask here, is that we can have whatever burn tax you want, but it doesn't make sense if people aren't using it. We also know CZ Binance ultimately was against this, because you ultimately exclude traders, people trading the price of Luna Classic, and now they would go over and use exchanges, which obviously we know currently aren't supporting it. And you might say, well, 2bit, some of them might. Here's the question. What is different right now than 2022, when we had billions of dollars worth of volume? We had massive amounts of money coming in. The market was generally in a good place versus where we are now. Now, you might say, well, actually, the market is about to shift and we could see a significant change, perhaps, but I still think it has to have people using the chain in order for this to be any kind of success. And the reality here is I don't think we have that just at the minute. It says we'll also increase our funding to staking rewards threefold from 0.05 to 0.15. This proposal brings back the original burn plus 0.3 to fund chain, and important to bring the vote before the crypto bull market to take advantage of high on-chain volume when LUNC rises. LUNC will only rise obviously through hype, and more importantly, we know through USTC and the potential to repeg. And I think that's where we've kind of got interested, and that's where I think the revitalization of Luna Classic has come back. And I think that's important. That is important because ultimately we will get volume back in, but is it truly going to come back in when there's a potential 1.5% tax on the swaps? I think that has to be an important part. Now, the full view of it here is by Jets on Osmo One is his name, published with over 2,000 views. Now, there's a really mixed response in terms of what the community has said. So again, one must be ignorant to remember Binance was not okay with this and halted entire chain activity. It says this is very close to my original idea. I'm not sure how this will work. And then equally, you've got people that are ultimately quite bullish on it. And there's even been a couple of people that have put YouTube videos out talking about this being a good thing. Ultimately, burns only attribute to volume, and you cannot attribute volume currently based upon the 1.5% burn tax, because that's not what we've got. We've got less burn tax. And I think that's the important thing to reference here. Now, interestingly, when we look at the actual community pool and such, we are still continuing to build this. This has still been there. So is there a desire that we need to ram this full? Well, not at the minute, and I'm not sure why. We obviously have that proposal for the work on the chain on the pay by project part. We'll see if that kind of pulls out. But again, still some stuff to do on here. So there really is a question here of whether this is actually worthwhile, whether it's going to make a difference, and ultimately what does it do to the chain. Now, taking a look at the price, you can see the market is flipping green, but Terra Luna Classic down about 7%. We are, however, starting to move back to the upside. What we need to see is ultimately this reversal right now. We're looking to break the volume price index, move back above this red line, and start to punt back up. You can see there where we've retested the volume price index quite a few times, so we'll be looking for the break above, which could send us back up. Now, some key supports around the 1800, 18.5 that we'd be wanting to look to get back into. But if you look at the oscillator down here, just starting to flip potentially to the upside. USTC is similar, around 6.5%. So we'll see how this plays out. We all know, though, while ever BTC is running, we generally therefore see a lot of the fringe cryptocurrencies struggle in a little bit, and that probably where it feels like with Terra Luna Classic. However, let me know in the comments, what do you think of the 1.5% burn tax? Do you think it's a good idea? Or do you think we need to move on from messing with the burn tax until we solidify some real on-chain purposeful volume for Luna Classic? I'm interested to know your thoughts. And as ever, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel for more, leave a like on this video, drop a comment down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.